Lake Lanier, the curse under the water. There is a lake in America, beautiful but deadly, a place where hundreds of people have died. Many bodies have never been found. It is called the Cursed Lake. And if you dive to the bottom of the lake, you will see old houses, cemeteries, even corpses staring at you from the darkness. This is the true story of Lake Lanier in Georgia, USA. Lake Lanier is not a natural lake. In 1956, the U.S. government built the Beaufort Dam to block the Chattahoochee River. The purpose? To provide water supply, hydroelectric power, and flood control. But to build the lake, thousands of people had to leave their homes. The small town of Oscarville and many neighboring villages were submerged under hundreds of millions of cubic meters of water. Most of the population was relocated, but not all. There were abandoned houses, unfilled plots of land, and even cemeteries that had not yet been moved. When the lake was full, everything sank to the bottom. Locals believe that from that moment on, Lake Lanier was cursed. Since its formation, Lake Lanier has become one of the most dangerous lakes in the United States. In just a few decades, more than 700 people have died or gone missing here. Many people drowned while wearing life jackets, an extremely rare occurrence. Some bodies never surfaced. Divers have reported seeing human bodies at the bottom of the lake, still fully clothed, eyes wide open and lifeless, floating in the murky water. Many witnesses claim that they were pulled down by an invisible force, as if a cold hand grabbed their ankles and yanked them. One of the most famous stories associated with Lake Lanier happened in 1958. Two girls, Delia Parker Young and Susie Roberts, drove a 1954 Chevrolet on the Lanier Bridge. In the dark of night, the car lost control and plunged into the lake. People searched for weeks but found no trace. It wasn't until 1990, more than 30 years later, that a diver found the car deep at the bottom of the lake. Its body rusted and its doors closed. Inside, Susie's body was still sitting in the driver's seat, her bones clinging to the seat frame, but Delia wasn't there. Her body was found scattered, floating nearby, with her hands missing. This gave rise to a creepy rumor. Delia's ghost could never be released, wandering around the lake with her arms amputated looking for a replacement. Since the accident, many drivers driving across the Lanier Bridge at night have said they saw a woman in a blue dress standing silently on the side of the road. Some even said that the white figure rushed straight in front of their car, causing them to brake suddenly, almost plunging into the lake. When they got out to check, the road was empty. People believe that it was Delia, Lady of the Lake, a ghost that still wanders around the lake, her eyes white, her face cold, waiting for someone else to take her place. Not only the female ghost, Lake Lanier is also famous for countless unexplained phenomena. Swimmers claim to be pulled to the bottom of the lake by an invisible force. Divers have heard the sound of car engines, screams, and church bells echoing from deep underwater. At the bottom of the lake, old houses, dead trees, and tombstones remain intact. Some believe that the spirits buried there have turned Lake Lanier into a death trap. Even today, Lake Lanier still claims lives every year. In 2012, two boys, Jake and Griffin Prince, drowned in a boat collision. Their bodies were not found until days later. In 2020, a television star, Naya Rivera, also went missing in Lake Piru, California. But that event immediately reminded many people of Lake Lanier, a symbol of mysterious deaths on the surface of America. With Lake Lanier, death spares no one. From children, teenagers, to adults, all can disappear in an instant. Today, Lake Lanier is still a destination for millions of tourists every year. They come to fish, swim, and boat. But alongside the peaceful beauty, there is always a fear. What is hidden in that clear blue water? Are there haunted houses at the bottom? Or are there souls that have not yet found rest? People say Lake Lanier is beautiful, but never be alone on the water after midnight. Cecil Hotel, death trap in the heart of Los Angeles. Right in the heart of Los Angeles, the most vibrant and crowded place in the United States. There exists a building with a deadly curse. Dozens of murders, suicides, and mysterious disappearances are all associated with it. People call this place the Hotel of Death. This is the true story of the Cecil Hotel. The Cecil Hotel was built in 1924 downtown district of Los Angeles. Initially, it was a luxury hotel for businessmen and high-class tourists. But just a few decades later, when the Great Depression and crime broke out, the Cecil became a haven for addicts, homeless people, prostitutes, and even notorious criminals. The place once known as the Pride of LA quickly turned into a dark den. And from there, a series of tragedies began. Since the 1932nd, the Cecil Hotel has witnessed many suicides. People jump from high-rise window. People cut their wrists in the bathroom. There was even a case of a woman jumping off, hitting a passerby, killing both of them on the spot. In just a few decades, dozens of people have chosen to end their lives here. It is believed that this building not only attracts tragedy, but also makes its occupants lose control, as if they are driven to self-destruction. Not only victims, the Cecil Hotel was also a hideout for serial killers. Richard Ramirez, nicknamed Night Stalker, a notorious serial killer in California in the 1982nd, once lived in the Cecil. After killing people, he returned to the hotel, threw his bloody clothes in the trash, and then calmly went to sleep. Another killer, Jack Unterweger, an Austrian assassin, also chose the Cecil as his residence and continued to commit crimes in Los Angeles. Just hearing those two names, you can understand why Cecil became the city's obsession. The most horrifying incident happened in 2013. Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old Canadian student, came to LA for a vacation and rented a room at the Cecil Hotel. She went missing for several days. When the police investigated, they discovered that the elevator camera recorded strange images. Elisa pressed many elevator buttons continuously, sticking her head out as if hiding from someone. Sometimes talking to an invisible person, sometimes trembling and shrinking. Finally, she walked out into the hallway and disappeared. A few weeks later, guests complained that the water in the room was cloudy and had a strange smell. When checking, the staff discovered Elisa's body lying in the water tank on the roof of the hotel. To this day, her death has not been clearly explained. With so many deaths, the Cecil Hotel has become a dark symbol in the heart of Los Angeles. People believe that this place is cursed, a gate connecting the world of the living and the dead. Although it has been renamed Stay on Main to erase its reputation, the memory of the Cecil is still fresh in the minds of LA residents. At night, when passing by, Many people swear that they see a shadow standing in the dark window, even though the hotel has been locked for a long time. The Cecil is not a deep lake like Lanier, not a deserted forest, but right in the heart of a big city. Yet dozens of lives have been lost here, no less mysterious and terrifying. If you have the opportunity to visit Los Angeles, would you dare to enter that building, take the elevator to the top floor, and sleep overnight in a room where someone may have died before you? The Amityville House. The Nightmare in Long Island, New York. There was a house in a peaceful neighborhood in Long Island, New York. But inside it, an entire family was murdered while they were sleeping. After that, anyone who lived there had to face terrifying phenomena. This is the true story of the Amityville House. On the 13th of November, 1974, at 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, a tragedy occurred. Ronald DeFeo Jr., 23 years old, used a rifle to shoot and kill all 6 people in the family while they were sleeping. Parents, Ronald Sr. and Louis, 2 brothers, 2 little sisters, all were killed right in their beds. No one had time to fight back. The strange thing is that the neighbors did not hear the gunshots, even though the rifles were extremely loud, and there was no sign of struggle on the bodies, as if they had been hypnotized or immobilized by an invisible force. Ronald was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. But when he went to trial, he claimed that he heard voices in the house telling him to kill his family. Just a year after the massacre, the house was sold to the Lutz family for a bargain price. George and Kathy Lutz moved in with their 3 children, but after just 28 days, they fled in panic, leaving all their belongings behind. They recounted the horrifying experiences. Heavy footsteps echoed in the middle of the night. Windows and doors swung open despite being locked. Black liquid oozed from the walls and ceiling. The stench was everywhere, despite cleaning. Kathy dreamed of the massacre, waking up to bruises on her body. George woke up every night at 3:15 a.m., the time Ronald DeFeo fired the gun. After the Lutz family left, a group of journalists and psychics entered the house to investigate. While taking pictures, they discovered the silhouette of a boy with white eyes standing in the hallway, even though the house was empty. Some psychics claimed that the house was located on land that had once been an Indian cemetery, and that the spirit buried there was the cause of all the hauntings. To this day, the photo of the ghost boy in Amityville remains one of the most famous haunted images in America. The Amityville house has been the subject of a series of books and films, the most famous of which is The Amityville Horror, 1977. Locals consider it a place no one should stay too long. Some families later lived in the house without any unusual events, but most left after a short time, unable to bear the heavy atmosphere. Many believe that Ronald DeFeo's massacre was just the beginning, as if there was a force in the house that used him as a tool to start a series of tragedies. The Amityville house has now been renovated, and its address has been changed to avoid curious visitors. But its dark reputation still haunts the whole of America. An ordinary house in an ordinary neighborhood. But inside there is a nightmare. Would you dare to step in and sleep at exactly 3:15 a.m. to find out if the voice Ronald heard really exists?